Hi guys, good to see you. This is the one that we've just done last week in class, all on strengthening the knees. So just to explain to you about the knees, right? In this class, I want you to think knees, 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 and always make sure that you're tracking your kneecap is in line with your hip bone as we go through the sequence, yeah? So the muscles that support the knees are the quadriceps, four big muscles that literally end around the bottom of the kneecap. So if we strengthen these, your kneecap becomes stronger. Then you've got the backs of the knees, the muscles that support the backs of the knees, the glutes and the hamstrings and the calves. All end the hamstrings and the calf muscle into the back of the knee. So we're going to be focusing on these. But not to forget that all of these muscles around the leg come from under the pelvis, the back of the pelvis, back and front. So we're going to be working on pelvic stability through the core, because if our pelvis is stable, then our knee tracking is stable. We don't end up knock-kneed or our knees rolling in or out. So just guys, take a look at your body and you see yourself where your weaknesses are, the inner muscles or the outer muscles, and let's do a little bit of work on that together. So let's just sit on the mat, find a comfortable spot. If you're better with your knees bent a little bit, as long as you can get your spine straight, that's all that matters. And then we're just going to check that we're sat nice and tall and check that we're even in the hip balance there. They're secured to the mat evenly. Take the hands in front of you. And then we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose and take a big breath out. Let's go again and take the arms up. Deep breath in. And reach up to the ceiling and breathe out through the straw in the mouth. Think tall. Now let's start to add in that core. Deep breath in. And as you breathe out through pursed lips, just imagine that you're bracing for somebody to punch you in the stomach. Just feel like you've got that contraction going. Now that's too much of a contraction, guys, but just feel like you've kicked in with that contraction. Deep breath in. And breathe out and just get that right amount of contraction in them abdominals to do the job. Just keep that lovely contraction there. Put the hands on the knees and just circle yourself around just to loosen up the hips. Go around, change direction, go in the other direction. Circle yourself around. Come back to the center. Take the arms to the side, take a swing around. And I want you now to put one hand on that knee and tap the floor with the other one and look round and look behind the shoulder. Get a good neck stretch. Stay where you are, guys, but turn the head and look over at the other shoulder. Just getting some nice neck stretches here. Come back to the center and swing the arms back round in the other direction. Tap hold of the other knee and just tap onto the floor with the other arm. And look over that shoulder. And a good stretch of that neck. Keep the body twisted where it is, but turn the head and let's look over the other shoulder. And a good stretch. Let's do that once more. Swing the body round till the hand hits the knee and the other hand is on the floor behind you. Look over that shoulder, stay tall. Keep the body where it is and turn the head and look over the other shoulder. Bring the head back to the center, swing the arms around and let's go once more in the other direction. Hold the knee, hand behind on the floor, look over that shoulder. Stay where you are with the body, turn the head and let's look over the other shoulder. Come back to the center and let's now do some lateral neck flexions. Just tilt the head to one side, it doesn't matter which side because we're doing both sides. And then I want you just to tuck the chin into the chest as you look into the front pocket. Bring the head back to the center and just go slowly with this. Tilt the head in the other direction. Tuck the chin into the chest as you look down at the front pocket. Bring the head back to the center. Then we're going to just take some lovely side stretches. We're going to reach our hand out to the side. And we're going to do a side bend. You might want to bend the elbow. Keep that opposite hip pinned to the mat. And then go again in the other direction. Sweep the arms down, hit the mat, put a little bend in the elbow, only if you can keep your pelvis glued to the floor, and reach and stretch the other side. Let's do that once more. Reach and stretch to one side, but this time stay here and see if you can bring this hand that's in the air down toward the floor as you literally twist the upper body. Tap the floor and then reach the arm back up toward the ceiling and just look at the tips of the fingers. Bring the arm back to the center and the head back to the center and go into another side bend. Get a good stretch. Keep that pelvis knitted to the mat. Let's go in the other direction. Swap arms. Do a side bend. Bend the elbow and get down further if you can keep the pelvis on the mat. Reach and get a nice side stretch. And then turn this arm and see if you can tap the floor as you turn the head and turn the upper body. Reach this arm toward the floor. Is one shoulder tighter than the other? And then take this arm back up toward the ceiling. Look at the fingertips. Then bring the body back to the center in the arm and go into another side bend. Keeping them hips still, guys. Keeping them glued to the mat. Hands back on the knees and just do them lovely circles. Just loosen it up at the hips. Change your circle and go in the other direction. I've got to think about that. I've probably done the same twice. Then come back to the centre and I want you to come onto the end of your mat so you've got plenty of room to roll back on, because here we're focusing on now core stability. Core keeps the pelvis stable, stable pelvis, knee tracking strong. Yeah. So just sit nice and tall at the end of the mat. If you feel like you're better with your legs straight or your legs bent, you just make that choice yourself. Sit nice and tall. You can use the backs of your hands to support your core if it's struggling a little bit, and that does help you. So we're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to do our lovely C curl. So we're bringing our hip bones into our rib cage without actually dropping the ribs. And then on the next exhale, we're going to scoop the belly in and we're going to do a lean back. Hold it there for a breath. And then on the next exhale, pull yourself up with your abdominals as you come back into a C curl and sit up nice and straight. Let's do a little add-on. If you want to stick with that and that's enough for you, stick with this. If not, you're holding a big beach ball and it's attached to the sternum. You're taking a deep breath in and C curling. You're going to exhale and you're going to lean back with that ball. You're going to inhale and hold, and you're going to turn the upper body and you're going to take that ball to one side on an exhale. You're going to inhale back to the center. Don't let the belly pop out. Go back into a scoop belly and sit up nice and tall. Go again. Deep breath in. Let's go into a C curl and then lean back on an exhale. Hold for a breath, because on the next exhale, without the back moving back further, we're going to take the ball to one direction. We're going to come back to the center, scoop the belly in, come into a C curl and sit up straight. Can we do one more, guys? One at either side, staying back. Deep breath in, C curl. Exhale, lean back. Hold it there for a breath. Exhale, take the ball in one direction. Inhale, take it back to the center. Keep that belly scooped in. Exhale, turn the ball, take it in the other direction. Come back to the center. Come back and scoop up into a C curl and back up sitting straight. Hug the backs of the knees. Get a good stretch. Just loosen up that lower back. And then lean back and give the legs a good shake in case the hip flexors have felt a little bit stuck and a bit achy. Now, can you, I'll come further up the mat, lean back onto your forearms without collapsing into them and sit right out of them and get some support in the upper body, peach under the chin and look ahead. If that's too much for you, come up, check the back's nice and straight, don't collapse it, and you can sit this direction. You actually choose what's easier for you. Come back down if that's best for you. Come out of the shoulders, look forward. Can you just check that your kneecap is in line with your hip bone? And your kneecap is in line with your second toe in from the big toe. Now what we're going to do, guys, is really work the quadricep muscles, which are these muscles here. We're going to take a deep breath in on the next exhale. We're going to see if we can pull our left kneecap up towards the hip bone by clenching our thigh. And then we're going to release it. So you should see a little lift in the kneecap. You're not pushing the kneecap down, you're pulling it towards you by contracting all of these muscles, the quadriceps. Let's go again. So deep breath in on the next exhale. Pull that kneecap. Contract them quadriceps and release. This time we're going to add a hover. So you're going to take a deep breath in on the next exhale. Contract them quadriceps. Pull that kneecap up as you hover the legs. Keep that contraction. Put the leg back down and release the contraction. Can we do 3 more, guys? Contraction. Really feel that you're contracting them thighs and the kneecap is being pulled up. Hover that leg and hold it. Release the leg and release the contraction. 2 more. Contract. Pull up the kneecap. Hover and hold. Release the leg. Release the contraction. 1 more. Contract. Hover. Pull that kneecap up as much as you can. Release the leg. Release the contraction. Let's go with the other leg, guys. If you feel a little bit achy, you can come up and have a little stretch. But this is good for your upper postural muscles to learn to support the upper back. Are we ready to go, guys? Check that that kneecap is in line with the hip bone. Contract, pull it up. You'll see a little lift. Contract that thigh muscle as you hover that leg and then bring that back down and release the contraction. Go again. Let's do 4 more. Squeeze the upper thigh as the kneecap lifts up toward the hip bone. Hover that leg and then release. Go again. Squeeze. I can see this kneecap's lifting stronger. This is obviously a stronger contraction. I get a higher lift. Hover the leg and then release the leg and release the contraction. Go again, guys. Just contract the kneecap. Contract that muscle. Pull it up. Pull it up. You really feel the muscles working hard here. And then you will lower the leg and release. I'm going to do 2 more. And if you need to stay on this, you can just pause the video and stay on this move longer. And then I'm going to release. I've got 1 more to do. My contraction's getting stronger as the kneecap pulls up. And then I'm going to release that and release the contraction. I'm going to roll down onto the mat and I'm going to give myself a lovely body stretch. And if you cross over your right ankle over your left, take a hold of your right wrist with your left hand and have a pull on that and get a good stretch just into those obliques, because we've been turning that big ball to one side in the movements that we've done at the beginning, so we're just stretching out that muscle. Then come back to the centre, the mat's a bit up, and then swap your crossover. Swap the ankles over, grab the other wrist now and bend and pull on that wrist to the other side. Come back to the centre, bring the arms down the side and just check that you've got that lovely Pilates neutral spine, back of the pelvis, bottom of the rib cage knitted to the mat and back of the head. Bring the heels a little bit nearer the buttocks because we don't want to cramp in the hamstring. And can you check that your kneecaps are in line with your hip bones? So we've just worked all the front of those muscles that support the kneecaps, the patella. And now we're going to literally work the back. We've worked the core to stabilise the pelvis, which helps to stabilise the knees. So now we're going to focus on butt, hamstrings, calves. So as you do some pelvic tilts just to loosen up those hips, I want you to check that as you tilt the pelvis and release it, that the knees are staying in line with the hip bones. So think, guys, big toe, little toe heel, draw a triangle, and you're going to push your weight through the feet as we go up into a bridge, and you're going to really fire the glutes, the hamstrings and the calves without the knees coming out of alignment with the hip bones. You're going to get in between the shoulder blades. Push the knees forward. Feel you stretching the quadriceps and you stretching here your hip flexors. And then peel the vertebrae back down nice and slowly with control. Find neutral spine, the nice flat triangle on the tummy, and then we're ready to go again. So fire all these muscles at the back and keep the knees in line. Here we go again. Deep breath in, tilt. Push through the feet. As you fire the glutes, fire the hamstrings, you peel up into a bridge, you hold at the top, push the knees forward, check they're in line with the hip bones, and then you start to peel the vertebrae back down to the mat. Find neutral spine. So now guys, what we're going to do is check and see which side is your weak side, which is firing better. So if you just watch me and then you can follow along when you're ready. You're going to think of big toe, little toe, heel triangle in the leg you're leaving behind. Knee stays in line with the hip bones as you take your leg up into tabletop. I'm doing it this side so you can see me. And then you're going to take a deep breath in, leave the leg in tabletop. You're going to exhale the hips straight up into a straight line. Don't let the rib cage pop. And then you're going to bring the pelvis back down. Keep strong through this leg, guys. You're going to reach out that leg. You're going to do 2 little pulses. And then you're going to bring it back into tabletop and do that again. So you're going to exhale and push the hips up. Push through this foot that's left behind. Work this glute and the hamstrings and calves. You're going to bring the pelvis back down into neutral. And you're going to stretch the leg, stretch that knee, and do 2 little pulses. This leg doesn't move at all. You've got a glass of Prosecco on it. And you're pushing all the weight through this and firing the muscles in this one side. Back into tabletop. Can we do 5 more? We're going to push up. We're going to come down. We're going to reach out and we're going to do 2 little pulses. We're going to inhale, exhale, inhale, reach 2 little pulses. Go again, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, hips up, inhale, hips down, stretch the leg, 2 little pulses, tabletop, hips up, hips down, stretch, 2 little pulses. One more, tabletop, hips up, hips down, stretch, 2 little pulses. Can we do one more, guys? This is looking good. Up, down, stretch, 2 little pulses. Bring that leg back. If you want to pull that leg in just to give that glute a little bit of stretch out before you put that down. And now we're ready to go again with the other leg. So think of pushing all the weight through this foot, big toe, little toe, heel, triangle of pressure, and we work in the backs of these muscles. Just see, guys, if one side feels easier than the other, which side is your weakest, and really work on getting them muscles firing. Tabletop, hips up, hips down, stretch the leg out, 2 little pulses. Knee up, hips up, hips down, stretch the leg, do 2 little pulses. 5 more. Inhale, exhale, inhale, pulse, push through this foot. Tabletop, exhale, inhale, stretch the leg out on an exhale, inhale, exhale up, inhale down, 2 little pulses as you stretch the leg out. Go again, I've lost count, let's say 3, down, stretch and pulse. 2 more, tabletop, up, hips down, stretch out, 2 little pulses. 1 more, up, down, stretch the leg out, 2 little pulses. Pull that knee toward the chest just to stretch the muscle here, and then pull them both and just circle them both to loosen up the hips. Nice big circles, and change direction with your circle and make them go the other way around. So we've worked the fronts of the thighs, the quads that support the knees. We've worked the backs, the hamstrings, the glutes, the calves, because they had to support us as we push through the feet. Now we're going to look at external and internal rotation of the femur, okay, the top, this part of the leg here that goes in the hip bone, and stabilisation of the pelvis. So there's two options to this move. I'll give you the easy one first. Check you're in neutral spine as you bring one of your legs up into perfect tabletop. That leg is concreted, so keep that 90-degree angle. Put your finger on your hip bones, and your key is here to rotate that leg as if you've got a pencil on the knee and you're drawing a big circle without this knee moving that you've left behind and without the pelvis moving. So you're seeing how far you can take that knee out without the pelvis moving. So you're basically learning to rotate with pelvic stability. Next option, you choose your option, because you're going to do 5 circles in one direction and 5 in the other. Here's the second option. Without moving your thigh, you straighten the leg out and you do a capital D. So you take the leg down, that's the back of the capital D. You sweep it out to one side, that's your half circle. You bring it back to the top again and you're ready to go in a tabletop. So you straighten the leg out, so you stretch the calf and the hamstring. You draw the back of the capital D with your toe. You sweep it out to one side and you're back at the top. Let's do 3 more, guys. Just focus on really keeping this pelvis stable. As you reach the leg up, you do the back of the capital D. You keep this knee still. You circle the leg out. You're back at the top, ready to start again. 3 more. Reach, lower, circle out, and tabletop. Reach, lower, circle out, and tabletop. Reach, lower, circle out, and tabletop. 1 more. Reach, lower, circle out, and tabletop. Can we go in the other direction? Straighten out this leg, and that makes it a little bit easier to literally take the leg over to one side. So straighten the leg, capital D, the back of it, circle inwards, come back to the top, tabletop. 4 more, guys. Reach, lower, circle, and bend. 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 1 more. Reach, lower, circle, and bend. That's hard work, isn't it? Bring the other leg back to bend. Have a little stretch of the glutes. And are you ready to go on the other leg? Remember the easy option. Keep the knee bent and just circle the knee as if there's a pencil on the knee. 5 in one direction and 5 in the other. You can do a little bit more if you want. Let's have another go. If you want to straighten this leg, you can. The key is to keep your pelvis stable. So this exercise is working, as you can see, the muscles at the inside of the legs and the outside, the abductors and adductors that keep your knee tracking right. So ready? Put the hands on the hips and check that they're not moving. Leg and tabletop. Straighten the leg. Capital D, the back of it. Circle it out and we're back at the top. Let's go again. Straighten the leg. Capital D at the back. Circle it out. 3 more, guys. Straighten. Down. Circle and bend. 2 more. Straighten. Down. Circle and bend. Straighten, down, circle and bend. Have we got one more or not? Let's go with it. Straighten, down, circle and bend. Let's go in the other direction. Straighten, down, inward circle. Now back at the top and bend. Straighten, down, inward circle, back at the top and bend. Straighten, down, inward circle, back at the top and bend. Straighten, down, inward circle, back at the top and bend. I'm getting a little shake on. Can we do one more? Straighten, down, inward circle, back at the top and bend. Pull that knee into the chest. Bring the other one up. Pull them both in. Give them a circle. And then change directions with your circle. Then pop one foot down, the other foot down, put your feet together and let your knees fall apart. You hear that nice crack in that knee? That feels so good. Your hips should start to feel loose and just rock from side to side. Loosen up the hips. And then we're going to add to working those abductors and adductors, the inner and outer thigh muscles. They help with knee tracking to keep the knee, the patella, going central. Forgot my words there. So turn over onto your side. Here is where you will need a towel. You're going to take your arm to 12 o'clock. Rest the towel just on the pulse side of your head, not under your neck, so your head's not in lateral flexion. You're going to take your knees to a 45-degree bend, so the heels are in line with the buttocks. You're going to lengthen the waist so you feel a little lift there. Take the shoulder down and just relax. You can have it in front of you or on your hip. I'm putting it here because it's this muscle that we're really firing today. Your glute med, right? Your hip strengthener, strong hips, strong quads, strong knees, yeah? So let's go. So you're taking a deep breath in, and on the next exhale, you're hovering that leg up to hip height. Now, without moving your pelvis, you are trying to rotate externally the femur bone, the thigh bone, and take the knee toward the ceiling and then bring it back without the hips moving at all. So you're exhaling and you're inhaling, and you're seeing how far you can get that knee round without the pelvis moving. And you should feel like you are working this part of the hip, the glute med. So if you feel it's a bit dull in its senses, fire it and work at that a little bit harder and take that leg round that little bit more. Let's do 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that down. You might want to give it a slap and a good rub. And now straighten the legs out as if you're on that brick wall. You should just be able to look down and see the tips of your toes. Lengthen your waist so that your hips are stacked correctly and you feel a little bit of a drop there, a little bit of lift there, sorry. Hot stone under the waist. When you're ready, you can challenge where you put your hand. You're going to lift the top leg and you're going to lower it. You want to lift the top leg, you're going to lower it. Now if you feel you're wobbling, pop your hand in front of you. But if this is all right for you, you can put it down the side seam of your trousers, or you can put it up in the air, or you can take it over the top. You choose what you feel is best for you. So we're lifting without shortening the gap here. So your pelvis, the hip bone here, there should be a gap between that and the rib cage, and maintain that gap as you lift and lower the leg. This time, you're going to lift the leg up and you're going to leave it there. You might want to reposition your hand because you're going to start to lift and lower the bottom leg. If you can do that and still maintain your core control, you can actually just take that arm back down the side seam of your trousers. So you're lifting and you're really trying to get this thigh here, off the mat. You're lifting and you're really working that outer thigh muscle as well as the inner one, and you're pulling up toward that leg. Let's do 3 more. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. 1 more, because this is looking good. And then drop that leg there. Take this knee and bend it. Give it a little bit of a rest. Pop it in front of you. Check that your pelvis hasn't rolled forward. Keep that stability, because now we're going to lift and lower the leg that's left on the mat. So you're going to exhale and lift it as high as you can and inhale. You're going to exhale it up and inhale it down. Exhale it up and really feel that you're working that inner thigh, but also you are working the outer thigh. Let's do 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and 1 more. And this time keep it up, guys. And you're going to do little pulses, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that was hard work. Give your hips a slap and a rub, because we're going to roll over on our front. So come over on your front, guys, and we're just going to get ourselves in neutral spine. So lengthen your legs. So lift up a leg, hover it. Imagine I'm pulling it, and pop it back down. Lift up your other leg, hover and stretch, and pop it back down. I'm going to get you to put your forehead on your tower roll, lengthen the neck, take the shoulder blades down the back, and hands down the sides of the body, palms facing up toward the ceiling. I'll just turn my head so you can hear me better. The whole point of this exercise is we work mid-back, not lower back. You should not feel the pain here. This is the chance for your glutes to have a rest, and your hamstrings and your calves. Is all we're working is upper back, bra line, heart monitor line, yeah? No neck getting involved at all. This is the one where we have no neck at all. Our head comes out of our shoulders and our upper back is lifting it. So when you're ready, I want you to take your pubic bone gently into the mat to get out of that duck bum. Take a deep breath in. On the next exhale, engage your tummy muscle. Just pull it up off that hot stone and hold it there. As you take a deep breath in, and you exhale and you hover the chest off the mat and the arms, and the head comes for a free ride. And all you should feel is it mid-back, not lower back. Are your buttocks staying relaxed, and are your feet staying relaxed? You should be able to exhale and lift and inhale and lower, keeping everything below the waist switched off. If you're struggling to do that, open your legs wide, flop out your heels and let your big toes look at each other. So we're exhaling up and we're inhaling down. On the next one, we're going to exhale up, we're going to stay up, and we're going to do 5 little pulses on an in-breath, keeping the neck switched off, and 5 little pulses on an out-breath. 5 little pulses on an in-breath, and 5 little pulses on an out-breath. Let's do that again. 5 little pulses on an in-breath. Are you feeling it in upper back, not neck, and not lower back? 5 more little pulses. Take the arms to Angel of the North, bring them back to the side, and come back down. Relax your head on the back of your hands, and check your shoulder blades down the back. Bring the heels back to hip width apart and the knees in line with the hip bones. That same movement that we've done at the beginning of contracting the thigh muscles and lifting the kneecap, we're going to do that same one here, but with the backs of the legs. So guys, I'm going to turn my head just so I can see you and you can hear me, but your forehead will be on the mat. So take a deep breath in, and on the next exhale, I want you to, on the right leg, literally fire your glute, your calf, your hamstrings without your hip bones moving. Fire all those muscles, and then hover it
Hold that there, contract them muscles as much as you can, and then release the hover and release the contraction. Let's do 3 more. Fire all those muscles as you hover. Feel it in the glutes, the hamstrings, the calves. Really get that just right amount of contraction where you're not cramping. Then release the leg and release the fire. Can we do 2 more? Hover, fire, contract. Keep the pelvis still and feel like the glutes are working as hard as they can, the hamstrings and the calf. Release that and take it back to the mat and release the contraction. Let's go with the other leg. Let's just do a few on this leg. Fire, hover. Feel which side is firing better than the other side. See what your weak sides are. Is it this one? Is it the other side? And then release and release the contraction. Go again. Fire. I find my other side was firing the best. My glutes are a little bit weaker on this side. And I'm going to release the contraction and release the leg. Go again. Contract. Hover. Lengthen. Release the leg. Release the contraction. Can we do both? Can we now contract that leg, the first one again? Hover the leg, keep the contraction, contract the other one, hover that leg. Really feel all the muscles firing. And can we go for a little swim? Can we do 10, 9, 8, keep that contraction, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, keep the belly button up, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, woo! Release that. Come up in the pose of a child. Stretch the back, open the knees, take that back to the buttocks, straight back to the heels. In a good back stretch. A good back stretch. Stretch out. And then we're ready, guys, to go on the other side. So come up first of all and give yourself a lovely angry cat stretch. Arch the back and drop the head. Get a good stretch. Tuck under that tailbone and get a nice lower back stretch. Sit back again. Come up. Swap side. Take your towel. Arm at 12 o'clock. Towel to stop the neck going into lateral flexion. Arm back. Bend the knees at 45 degrees. Heels in line with spine. Lengthen the waist. Feel like the hips are stacked. Take the shoulder blade down the back. Put your hand anywhere. But if you want to feel like this is firing, let's see which side, guys, was better than the other. So when you're ready, you're going to exhale and bring that up to hip height. And take a deep breath in, because without the pelvis moving, just see if this leg moves better than the other one. So we're literally using core stability to keep the pelvis still as we externally rotate the femur and work our glute med, which supports the hips from the side. Strong hips at the side support strong quadriceps, strong knee tracking. So let's do 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release that. You might want to give your hip a slap and a rub, but now we're ready to take it onto our brick wall. We should just be able to look down and see the tips of our toes. Lengthen the waist so that one leg is the same length as the bottom one, so lengthen that so we're not lying hip hitch. You challenge where you put your hand, engage them tummy muscles, and when you're ready, you're going to start to lift and lower. So all you're doing is lifting that leg, but what is not happening is this. I'll show you. You're shortening the gap. So you should maintain this gap between the pelvis and the rib cage and see how high you can lift that leg whilst maintaining that gap. And the only way you can do that is brace the tummy. Just the right amount of contraction for the job. And then lift and lower.
And then when you're ready, we're going to keep it up. I always lose count, you can count. And we're going to take the bottom leg to meet it, and we want the thigh coming right off the mat. While the top leg stays where it is, you're lifting and you're lowering. You're lifting and you're lowering. You're lifting and you're lowering. You're lifting and lowering. Lift. Let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now bend this leg, give it a little rest, put that knee in front of you. Check the pelvis hasn't rolled forward, and just relax the shoulder. If your neck's sore, just put the hand behind the back to give it a bit more of a stretch. And then when you're ready, we're going to take this thigh right off the mat, point the toe or flex it, because we don't want a bend in the knee. So you're lifting that as high as you can and you're lowering it. So we're working the inside of the muscles of the leg and the outside, the abductors and the adductors that support the knee and keep the knee in its tracking, so it moves centrally rather than in or out. So we're really strengthening those muscles at either side of the kneecap. And this time you're going to stay up and you're going to do little pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7. This is a weaker leg. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8. I'm feeling it now. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That was my weak side, and I've just clocked that in my head, and I know that's something I need to work on more, and that is the knee that I do get turning in. And then give your knees a bend, slap your hip. Let's roll over onto our back and do some lovely stretches. So roll over, just stretch out those legs, check you're in neutral spine. Put the feet together and just let the knees fall apart. Do you notice, guys, that they feel a little bit different, a little bit looser at home? And just rock the hips from side to side. Now come back into neutral spine. Check the knees are in line with the hip bones, feet hip width apart. Connections on the mat, back of pelvis, bottom of rib cage, back of head. Now I'll show you with this leg because you can see me better. You're going to take this leg up into tabletop, right? You're going to support it with your hand, yeah, wherever you are comfortable putting that. If you find it's easier putting a towel around your leg to keep that there, then you can do that, yeah, and hold your towel. Because what we want is the thigh not to move at all. So you might be better using a towel. So you're going to unbend the leg and take it back to tabletop. You're going to straighten the leg. You're trying to get no bend in the knee and back up to tabletop. Unbend, back up to tabletop. Unbend, back up to tabletop. So what you're doing here is just loosening up the hamstring muscle and the back of the calf. And you'll find the more you do, the brain starts to get the message, and that hamstring loosens a bit more and you get a better range of motion. And this time you're going to leave it up and you're going to flex the foot and point the toe. You're going to flex the foot and you're going to point the toe. You're going to flex the foot, you're going to point the toe. One more, flex, good for the Achilles as well, point. Keep the point because you're going to literally do 5 circles in one direction, good ankle mobility here. And then you're going to do 5 circles in the other direction. Do you find one rotation tighter than the other? Does your ankle feel misaligned and it's struggling to circle in one direction? Get to know your body. And then you're going to take away the towel. You're going to pop your hand on the outside of that thigh. You're going to ease it over
and the other arm stays down, palm facing down to keep the shoulder pinned to the mat. Getting a nice stretch of the IT band here. You're going to bring it back to the centre, take a hold of the outside of the leg with this hand, and you're going to support it so it doesn't go too far out. You don't want the pelvis rocking, with the other hand on the mat. Take that out as far as you can. Bring that back. Bend the knee. Pop the ankle over the other knee. If you want to make this stretch a little bit harder, there's 3 options. So just loosen out that hip there by rocking the knee backwards and forwards. You can either hover that foot off the mat, or you can thread your hand around that thigh, keep the peach under the chin, and you can straighten the leg out and get a bigger stretch that way. And push this knee down, get a good stretch through the hip. Then bend this knee, put the foot back on the mat. Take this away, give it a little stretch, because we're ready to do the other leg. So, check you're in neutral, bring this leg up into tabletop. Support it with your hands or the towel, because you don't want your thigh to move. So you're going to straighten the leg and bend it. Straighten the leg and bend it. Straighten it, and it's back in tabletop. Straighten it, back into tabletop. The brain will get the message, what you're trying to do. You're trying to really stretch out the hamstring and calf. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. You will get a little movement, but you want to keep the thigh as still as you can. And this time, move it, keep it nice and straight. And you're going to flex the foot, stretch the hamstring, point the toe. Flex the foot, point the toe. Flex the foot, point the toe. Flex and point. That feels great. And point. Flex and point. And then circle. So circle 5 circles in one direction. Nice ankle mobility. And change directions with your circle. And do 5 in the other direction. And then take the hand to the outside of that thigh. Take the other hand, angel of the north, palm facing down. Ease it across the front of your body. Just a little stretch. Ease it the other way. Swap arms, take the other one down. Ease it out as much as you can without the pelvis moving. Bring that back. Bend the knee back to tabletop. Take that ankle over that knee. And just take that knee in and out. Just loosen up the hip that little bit more. And then if you want to, you make this stretch a little bit harder. Grab the back of your thigh if you want, and take your leg up into the air and push that knee down. Get a good stretch. And then bend that leg, put the foot back on the floor. Pull the knees into the chest. Get a good stretch. And then give them a lovely big circle. Lovely circle. And then circle them in the other direction. And then put one foot on the mat and the other. We're going to roll onto our front. We're going to finish off with some lovely angry cat and cows. So come on to all fours. And when you're ready, you're going to take a lovely deep breath in. You're going to arch the back and drop the head. Get a good stretch. And then in the next breath, take your tailbone up into the air. Get the biggest pool of water into your lower back. Push through the hands. Get a good stretch across the shoulders. Keep the peach under the chin. And just keep that belly button up and in. Then back into an angry cat stretch. Arch the back and drop the head. And then back into a cow. And then come into neutral spine. Sit on your bottom. And how did you find that? How do your hips feel now? Let's just circle them. How do your inner thighs feel in your outer thighs? And then change direction and make the circle go the other way. I've got to really think about this. Do that again. Circle one way.
and then circle the other way. And then if you can, I want you to come up onto your knees. And all I want you to do is reach your leg out to the side to get a nice inner thigh stretch. Yeah, reach your leg out to the side. And then I want you just to take the fists to the mat, keep that spine nice and straight, and reach over. Push that leg out a little bit further to just get that nice stretch. Then you're going to push up, back to the centre, and then you're going to think of keeping your hips central, and you're going to come back. You're going to just do a squat. All you're doing. And you're coming back up again, and you're doing another squat. Just to do a last stretch on that. You're going to bring that leg back. You're going to swap legs. You're going to take that out as far as what's comfortable. You're going to drop the fist to one side as you reach over and have a bend. Get a good stretch. You're going to come up. You're going to side bend. Just let's do one more. Reach. You're going to come back to the centre and you're going to go into a squat. Keep them hips central and push the hips back. Then come back up and try that again. A nice squat. If this is too much, you can leave this out of the workout. See if you can get the buttocks back, but keep the back straight. And then come back onto your knees. Sit on your bottom. Swing your legs round. Well done. Keep doing that, and I really feel you will see a difference. Thank you. Bye.